You can feel it before they even say a word. The shift in their voice, the silence that lasts a second too long, the way they sigh when they sit down, and suddenly, it's yours to fix. You don't know why. You just know that if they're upset, something inside you can't relax until they're okay again, until the tension breaks, until you've said the right thing, done the right thing, become whatever they need you to be in that moment. And the worst part? You've been doing this so long you thought it was just who you are. It isn't. Think about the last time someone close to you is in a bad mood. Maybe it was a parent, a partner, a friend, a coworker. They didn't say anything was wrong, but you felt it. And within minutes, without even deciding to, you started adjusting. You got quieter or warmer. You chose your words more carefully. You started scanning their face for clues, trying to figure out what you did, what you could do, how you could make it better. Even if it had nothing to do with you, even if you were tired, even if you were hurting too. You set yourself aside automatically, like a reflex you never agreed to develop. Here's the question that matters. When did you learn that other people's emotional states were your responsibility? Because you weren't born this way. There's a psychological term for what you've been living inside. It's called emotional parentification. It doesn't only happen in extreme situations, it happens in the quiet ones. It happens when you're a child and the adults around you are emotionally unpredictable, when a parent's mood fills the entire room and everyone adjusts to survive it. When you learned early that love felt safer when the people around you were calm, when keeping the peace meant you got to feel okay too. So you became a reader of rooms, a soother of storms, a child who grew up faster than they should have, not in years, but in emotional labor. You learned that your comfort was secondary, that your needs were negotiable, that the most important thing you could do in any relationship was manage how the other person felt. And you got so good at it that it became invisible, even to yourself. Here's the deep truth that most people never tell you. When you take responsibility for someone else's emotions, you're not being loving, you're being afraid. Afraid of their anger, afraid of the silence, afraid of what happens if someone is unhappy and you didn't try to stop it. Because somewhere in your past, someone's bad mood had consequences. Maybe it was unpredictable rage. Maybe it was withdrawal, the kind of cold quiet that felt like punishment. Maybe it was tears that made you feel guilty for simply existing. So your nervous system made a deal. It said, if I can control how they feel, I can stay safe. That deal made sense then. It protected you. But you're still paying for it now, in relationships where you abandon yourself to keep others comfortable, in friendships where you apologize before you've even understood what happened, in your own mind where you replay conversations asking, did I upset them? Did I say the wrong thing? Are they okay? You became so attuned to everyone else's emotional world that you lost the ability to simply be. Think about how this shows up in your daily life. You're in the middle of a conversation and someone seems distracted, and you immediately wonder if it's something you said, even though they told you they're just tired. You watch your message get left on read and your mind builds an entire case against yourself. Someone raises their voice, not even at you, and your whole body tightens. Your instinct isn't to step back, it's to step in, to smooth it over, to fix it. Or maybe it's this. Someone you love is sad, and even though you know logically you didn't cause it, you physically cannot feel okay until they do. That is not empathy. That is a wound that was never named. Here's the moment I want you to sit with. Other people's emotions are not emergencies you need to respond to. Someone being angry doesn't mean you did something wrong. Someone being sad doesn't mean it's your job to cure it. Someone being disappointed doesn't mean you have failed them. You are allowed to be present for the people you love without disappearing inside their experience. The most painful part of this pattern isn't the exhaustion, though it is exhausting. It's that somewhere along the way, you stopped trusting yourself to be loved when you weren't useful. You started believing that your value in a relationship was tied to how well you managed the emotional temperature of the room. You weren't loved enough to just exist, so you worked for it instead. Healing from this doesn't mean you stop caring. You will always be someone who feels deeply. That's not the wound, that's the gift. It means learning, slowly, that you are allowed to let someone feel what they feel without making it your emergency. It means noticing the moment your body tenses and your mind starts problem solving around someone else's mood and pausing, just for a second, long enough to ask, is this mine? Most of the time, it isn't. You spent years carrying weight that was never yours to carry. You can put some of it down now, not because you don't love them, but because you finally deserve to be okay too.